Just wanted to do that just for the hell of it, man. Oh boy. So anyway, what brings you on here, Patrick? Well, what brings me on here is the fact is that I have something I want to talk about. Two things. One is a big thing. One is not really so big. I just want to quickly get that over with. So, the first thing I want to quickly get over with is the fact that we have just witnessed the end of we've heard the rumors of the end of Rich Swann. Rich Swann was released early this morning. I woke up pretty early, maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock, can't remember what's the exact time, but I woke up pretty early and then I checked on WWE.com what was going on, and the next thing I see this report popping up that Rich Swann has been released. Now, I didn't really read what happened. I could have already easily thunk in my head what could have went down. My immediate thought was, oh, well, I think it's quite obvious what could have happened. That's just what I said. I'm like, oh, well, it's kind of obvious what I think what could have happened is that they would have fired Rich Swann because of that whole negotiations that Rich Swann has been going through. He probably got pleaded guilty. And he would have been released because of charges. But it looks like, but on WWE.com it says Rich Swann and WWE part ways. So maybe they left on good terms. I don't know. This isn't really the big story I wanted to talk about anyway, so don't go ahead and thinking I'm going to spend about a few minutes talking about this. I wanted to talk about something else as well. I was thinking of talking about the face turns between Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler. Some people say Baron Corbin's wasn't really an official one, even though I've read things up saying it was an official one. But I'm going to be talking about the one match, about a match that could potentially be happening for WrestleMania, from what I've heard. From what I've heard, there could be a WrestleMania match that could be happening. Okay? This is just what I've heard, okay? So let's go over it. A lot of people have been speculating and hoping for a John Cena versus Undertaker match. A lot of people have been wanting that, but according to this report, that may not be happening. Let me just move this over here. According to a report I found, that match may not happen, so take this with a pinch of salt, okay, guys? Take this with some grain of salt. This may be false, but Wrestle Talk News has talked about it, Walt Culture has, and a few other sources. A few other sources have mentioned this particular match instead of Undertaker and John Cena, so I'm guessing this match is the backup plan in case if Undertaker isn't ready. according to this report, is that it's been rumored for a while now. As we all know, John Cena is in a program with Elias, and there's been various sources going around saying that they are planning to turn Bayley into a heel. Something I've actually been asking for, but I'm keep reading. But some people have been realizing that Bayley turning heel might not be a smart decision, but WWE could be heading towards this direction because they seem to have got their eyes focused on the fact that Elias and Bayley interacted with each other on Monday Night Raw, and with them talking to each other on Monday Night Raw could mean that this pairing that they paired together for the Mixed Match Challenge is not a one-off. So like I said, take this with a grain of salt. This could possibly not be a one-off situation, is that they are planning to have Bayley and Elias pair up together and have them become some kind of an item. And Bayley reporting that this could resolve in Bayley turning heel instead of Sasha Banks. Now, I don't understand why that could be the case, even though I've been saying turn Bayley heel for a while. But they've been setting up Sasha Banks to lose in nearly every single match. And if that's not going to resolve in Sasha Banks turning heel, then I don't know what will. According to Wrestle Talk News, this match, or according to Wrestle Talk News, that this was leaked by accident. The sources have said that they're planning on pushing Bayley into a heel to pair up with Elias to take on the team of John Cena and his real-life girlfriend Nikki Bella in a mixed tag match for WrestleMania 34. Now, I can see why. Now, before I get on to my thoughts of this match, I'm actually going to sit here and tell you guys, I am fine for this, because at least it actually ties into the storyline that's going on right now between John Cena and Elias. John Cena and Elias, as you would know. But this is the same situation John Cena and Nikki Bella... Was I about to say Nikki Bella? Nikki Bella? No, this is the same situation that John Cena and Nikki Bella were in last year. They were put in a mixed tag. Now, I honestly am going to tell you guys, I really don't want to see John Cena and The Undertaker. Now, the reason why I don't want to see John Cena and The Undertaker, a lot of people have been wondering, what are my thoughts on this, in case if people had been thinking, because even though I may have small amount of subscribers, maybe someone like a King Schmidt might think, well, what does Patrick think of Undertaker and John Cena? Honestly, I kind of do not want to see it, only because they've really done a lot wrong with The Undertaker. Is the fact that WrestleMania 30, when Undertaker lost his streak, that should have been it for The Undertaker. That should have been the last time we should have seen Undertaker. When he lost to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 30, that should have been the last time we saw of Undertaker. But WWE continued to want Undertaker back every single Mania. Then what was the point in giving Lesnar the streak if you're only going to have Undertaker keep coming back? And also, we had Undertaker take off his hat, jacket, and clothes. Not all of his clothes, but most of his clothes in the ring. His hat, jacket, and gloves. Or his hat and jacket. They put that in the ring. He put that in the ring, and he left. Why are you going to have Undertaker now come back? him appearing at Raw 25 made sense because him being at Raw 25 made sense because he's been one of the biggest cornerstones of 25 years of Raw. Even though he's been more of a SmackDown guy. But basically what I'm saying is that Undertaker's really gone way past his prime. John Cena and Undertaker should have been a match they did when Undertaker was in his prime. That should have been when they did John Cena and Undertaker. But they never went with Cena versus Undertaker. When John Cena was in his prime and when Undertaker was in his prime. Some people might say, oh, John Cena still is in his prime. He may be 40 years old, but he's still healthy and he's still strong. But yeah, maybe John Cena is still in his prime, but what I mean by in his prime, I mean like when they're not too old, where they're not slowing down. Undertaker has been slowing down so much over the past few years. I understand why people want John Cena versus Undertaker. I understand why people want to see it, because it's never been done before. And obviously this is WWE's last chance to do it. Now, if John Cena and Undertaker still happens, I'm not going to sit here and rant about it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you why, oh, it's a bad idea. Why? Because I'm not that type of person. If it happens, it happens. But I'm just saying, I don't want to see it happen. And if it does happen, I'm not going to say, oh, I'm not gonna rant about it. So, if it happens, it happens, but I really feel like this match, this mixed tag, would feel more feel to be more sensible than risking Undertaker to verse John Cena. Even though John Cena will probably most likely beat The Undertaker. So, I think WrestleMania 33 should be the end of The Undertaker. That's it. It should be the last time we see The Undertaker. I'm not saying I don't want to see Undertaker anymore. Undertaker is getting way too old now. We don't need to keep seeing him coming back every single year. We don't need to. He's getting way too old now. He's getting way too old, and honestly, I really don't want to see Undertaker compete in any more matches. I just want WWE to let the guy retire. What they did with him at WrestleMania 33 was perfect. Perfect way to end Undertaker's career. And now all of a sudden you want to bring him back? Then that will just completely ruin the whole purpose of what he did at WrestleMania 33. I'm sorry, but I know people want John Cena and Undertaker, but if you use your head and realize that if they have Undertaker come back in the ring against John Cena, then everything they did with Undertaker at WrestleMania 33 would have been wasted. I'm just telling you guys something that you guys need to know. I'm just saying, you guys need to know that. I know a lot of people want the match, but maybe you should realize what happened last year and then piece the puzzles together. Anyway, back on the match that I just mentioned. I am more okay with this match than John Cena and Undertaker. I've already gone over my reasons why for The Undertaker. Because I feel like this makes more sense. Now, I know Nikki Bella's on SmackDown. She's contracted to SmackDown. And John Cena is contracted on both, because he can go between both shows. Which I still think is bullshit. He should only go on one show. But you can have Cena appear on SmackDown. You can have Cena and Nikki both be on SmackDown for this rivalry with Elias and Bayley. Now, maybe you don't have to turn Bayley heel. Maybe you could just pair her with him, leaving her as a babyface. Just have her pair with him, and they both come out together. Now, obviously, I'm just going to ignore that. Now, I know some people might say, oh, well, Bayley isn't really the heel type. I'm okay with them going with Bayley going heel, but after everything they've done with Sasha, to me, it really doesn't make sense to turn Bayley heel. If you want Bayley to pair up with Elias for WrestleMania with Cena and Nikki, just leave Bayley the way she is. Leave Bayley as a face, and then maybe have Sasha Banks turn heel on her on the night after WrestleMania. To me, it really doesn't make sense. You can have Bayley move over to SmackDown Live this year with the draft coming up. But maybe that's another thing I should bring up about the draft, but before I get on to that. But overall, I think this match, to me, is more believable than John Cena versus Undertaker. Also, there's been reports on the draft. This is going to be the last thing I'll talk about. There's the plans of a draft coming up. And there's rumors going around is that every single pay-per-view will become dual branded. Now, I know King Schmidt made a video on this, and I apologize to him that I didn't watch it. But I am going to tell you, this is not the right thing to do. You can't have every pay-per-view dual branded, because it's pretty much killing everything about the draft. Why do you think I was against John Cena being a free agent? Because it kills the whole draft. It kills the draft. John Cena is meant to be on one show. He can't be on two. And the next thing I had a blithering idiot, or I should say a friend of mine, message me through Messenger saying that Nikki Bella should do the exact same thing as John Cena, and I told him no, she shouldn't, because that will just ruin the entire thing of the draft. I love the draft. This is one of the things that I love so much, is that I hated the fact that every single wrestler was on Raw and SmackDown. I hated where all the wrestlers were jammed together. And Raw and SmackDowns were so boring those years because you'd have the same people on every single week. And then you have all the people that nobody cared about on Main Event and Superstars. While Raw and SmackDown, when there was no draft, it was just all the popular people on both Raw and SmackDown. When I heard the draft was coming back in 2016, I was so happy because I love the draft. The draft is the one thing I love so much. I was always a SmackDown guy. Raw was never really my show. SmackDown was always my show because I think I like SmackDown more because they had more of the younger talents, and Raw just had all the mainstream big fan favorites like what Raw does now with Sasha Banks, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, blah blah blah. The list goes on. Asuka, Bayley, and while SmackDown has Charlotte, Becky, Naomi, AJ Styles, Bobby Roode, Shinsuke, Orton, you name it. SmackDown has a few big names, but Raw has the most. I love the draft, and in NXT, to me, NXT has kind of killed the draft to me. Now I know some people might think that's a bit of a weird thing for me to say, but to me, NXT should be involved in these drafts as well. I'm not saying someone like a Dana Brooke can get drafted to NXT. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the main roster should be allowed to draft people out of NXT if they want to. If they want anybody out of NXT onto their shows, that's what I mean. NXT should be involved. Triple H can always just continue Triple H can easily just continue signing people. He can easily sign more people from the indies Well, Raw and SmackDown just draft a few of their guys and girls, and then he can just go, right, I'll just go out, sign a few more people, and then we're set. I think that's what NXT needs to be. NXT needs to be the brand where if they don't want to use talents, if there's any sort of talent that Raw and SmackDown have been watching in NXT for a while, like a Billie Kay, like a Peyton Royce, like an Ember Moon, or an Aleister Black, or an Adam Cole, baby, you know? Then they can just draft them. They can just draft them to their show. That's what I think NXT needs to be. NXT needs to be the show where Raw and SmackDown can pick up a few of their talents. I'm not saying they can draft every single person out of NXT. Maybe a maximum of 5. Maybe the maximum of 5 people leave NXT through every single draft. Then Triple H can just easily sign more people. You know, there's talks going around that Triple H is going to be signing most of the women from the Mae Young Classic, like Santana Garrett and what were their names? Santana Garrett. I think she was the only one I knew because I've actually seen her, and among other names from the Mae Young Classic, that he wants to sign up more of them. So losing a Billie Kay, losing a Peyton Royce, maybe even losing an Ember Moon, or maybe even Aaliyah, isn't going to damage their entire roster because they're going to get more women coming. I know, me saying Aaliyah is a bit weird, but I just wanted to throw her name in there. Just because, you know, in case if they want any, in case if they just want to have Aaliyah as like in the Mandy Rose and in the not ready segment for the main roster. But yeah, dual branded pay-per-views. Every single pay-per-view will be dual branded. I don't like that idea because again, it kills the entire reasons of the draft. WWE are only doing this because they have now realized that that they're doing the wrong thing with the draft. Well, maybe WWE. Well, maybe if you use your heads, and realize why people aren't going to these solo branded pay-per-views for Raw and SmackDown. Maybe if you use your brain and realize that you've been putting on shit television, and then maybe you will realize why this ain't working. Instead of just saying, oh, this ain't working, let's just make every single pay-per-view dual branded, and people know that this is a bad idea, because we all know that you had the ability to make it better. We know you have the ability to make it better. You're just being lazy. So that is what I heard about the draft. Now, I've been hearing that the draft could be happening either before Backlash or at Backlash, or maybe even after Backlash. So it seems to be somewhere in Backlash. You know, I think Backlash is... When is Backlash? Is that in May? I think Backlash is in May. Yeah, it seems to be hobbling around round about Backlash. So anyway, guys, that has been this video. I guess I could call this a bit of a news report video. Thank you for joining me for this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit that thumbs up. Comment your thoughts down below on what you think of Rich Swann being released. The potential mixed tag between Cena and Nikki versus Elias and Bayley, and also tell me what are your thoughts on the draft, and also the draft superstar shakeup, whatever you want to call it, and every pay-per-view becoming dual branded. So let me know on all 3 of these categories down below. Down below in the comment section. Lost my train of thought there. So, and also hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and also make sure you're notified when my videos come up as well. So anyway, this has been Patrick Valentine, and also this video is just like everything else, too sweet out to you guys.